Howdy, y'all. I've had a crazy week. So, I last filmed, I think, has it already been 2 weeks ago? Like 2 weeks ago. And since then, well, Andrew's about walking. Andrew will be in the background of this video, by the way. So, I haven't filmed because I had, in 2 weeks, because I had a baby. Like, just gonna come out and say it. I had my baby. So, yeah. I also had surgery. Emergency surgery. Not C-section, but I had surgery. So, this is my story time. So, I want to give a disclaimer real quick. I'm gonna be showing her at the end of the video, just because she's downstairs and I haven't gotten her dressed yet. But I'm not gonna be showing her a whole bunch. Like, I'm not gonna be chronically showing her, because I get paranoid and I don't want people to be weirdos, and there are weirdos online. Everything I post with her is gonna be strictly for memories, because it really pisses me off when people exploit their family. So that will not be happening here. No exploitation, thank you. So I did film a lot of videos at the hospital, but they're all for private matters, like they're all private videos. They're all like keepsake type videos for Violet when she grows older. And I'm gonna keep those private. I'll show like a few clips of ones that I feel comfortable showing. And I'll be showing some pictures too of just like different things that I find silly. But like I said, I wanna try to limit it, honestly. Because although I love my baby and I wanna show her off, I also don't want it to be too much. So I briefly mentioned in the last video that I have gallstones. And in case people don't know what they are, basically they get triggered by fatty foods, and it's when your gallbladder, which is in your right rib cage area, basically gets stones in it and starts to hurt as you pass these stones. And the gallbladder is not a necessary organ. It keeps like certain things safe, like I think it keeps your liver safe and stuff like that, but you don't need it. It's kind of like a appendix. Like you don't need it. So when I got diagnosed a month ago with it, and I'm gonna keep that really short, like long story short type thing. Basically, was having horrible chest pains, thought I was like having a heart attack or something. I was crying, I was freaking out. We went to the ER, and I was 36 weeks pregnant, and they basically told me, you're too early on. If you weren't this early on, we would have just induced you, but she's not full term yet, so you gotta wait. They basically would have induced me and taken out my gallbladder, because the only way to cure gallstones, because once you get them, you can't get rid of them, the only way is to get your gallbladder out. So they were like, yeah, we would have just given you surgery if it wasn't for you being pregnant and not being full term. I wasn't 36 weeks. I was actually 33 weeks when I got diagnosed. Or maybe it was like I just had moved and I got diagnosed like a couple days later. Like I was really only like 34 weeks. So they couldn't induce me basically. So basically that sucked, right? The pain in the passing, I dealt with it and I continued on with my life. And I did not change up my diet, which you're supposed to when you get gallstones, to prevent attack, is what it's called, a gallbladder attack. So to prevent it, you're supposed to change your diet. I didn't, and spoiler alert, a week later, not even a full week later, I had another attack. And it was way worse. No, it was worse the first time. This time wasn't as bad. It just was uncomfortable. I was kind of miserable the whole time. And we went to the ER again, and they basically were like, well, you could do a surgery to get the stones out, but it'll only be temporary. Like they're gonna come back and you're gonna have to deal with this again. So I said no, and they sent me home with a narcotic that was safe for pregnancy. And they basically were like, yeah, take this, you'll feel better in a little bit, and sent me on my way, okay? At this point, I was so traumatized from the attacks I was getting that I decided to finally change up my diet. And gallstone diets suck. They are low fat. And in case you don't know, low fat is really hard to find of anything. Like you have to eat bland foods. Like my average meal was cereal, a turkey sandwich. No cheese, no anything. Just turkey sandwich and other, like just like small things. Like I had to really just completely limit everything. And I love food. Like, I feel like you kind of tell. I love food. And, like, it kind of sucked. Especially when you're pregnant and you love food. Because how am I supposed to enjoy my cravings when I'm craving, like, all these great fast foods and I can't indulge? It was a sad time. So, for a little over a month, I was maintaining this diet. And I was doing pretty good. I lost some weight healthily because I was almost pregnant. So, obviously, I can't lose, like, a whole bunch. I was losing some weight, doing pretty good, and then suddenly, I had my appointment Friday to check my dilation. Okay, my appointment went good. They said I was 1.5 centimeters dilated, so I would basically be giving birth pretty much like on time was the hope, but they weren't entirely sure about that. It just kind of depended on how things went. You know, everything was good. We had a little ultrasound and it was great. And yeah, so then the weekend goes, and then on Sunday it's Andrew's last day of work before paternity leave, and he goes to work. Cool, great. And he is like, yeah, on his way to, I don't know, he's going to work. On his way to work though, I started to feel a flare-up begin. I called him crying, and I was like, I'm starting to feel a flare-up, I'm scared, blah, blah. And my mom luckily helped me and, like, was kind of taking care of me that day, and it was all good. And the pain, actually, for once, was not that bad. And I did not have to go to urgent care. I mean, ER, sorry, the ER. Like, yay. But things changed the next day. So it's Andrew's first day of leave. He has school leave on the day, but we're like, let's celebrate. We were just gonna run an errand, which is going to Salvation Army, a thrift store. So we were like, let's just go Salvation Army, make a little day of it, and then go back home. We go to Salvation Army, and in the morning I was already kind of feeling weird, like, you know, I was already kind of having some pains, but it was like really minor, and I thought it's probably just lingering pain. You know, I'm really pregnant. I was 39 weeks and 1 day. Or was I 1 day? Yeah, 39 weeks and 1 day. So I was like, obviously I'm gonna be uncomfortable. Like, obviously she's in my ribs. Duh. So then we go to Salvation Army, you know, buy some stuff. We head on home, all is well. Then Andrew has to get ready for school. And he's getting ready for school. And then as he's like in the shower, I feel something. And it is a gallstone attack. Like, at first I was like, you know what, I can handle this. It's fine. I can ride it out. No, I couldn't. It was really bad. And you're going to see Andrew in the background just helping me out. Hello.
Hey.
So, basically, I go in the ER. I'm like, hey. And luckily, they see me quick. And this is the protocol, at least the hospital I go to. Basically, you go to the ER, and no matter what you're in for, they send you to labor and delivery to the maternity ward to basically check your baby first and their heartbeat, and then check on you, which I think is stupid. Because if I'm complaining about chest pains and I could be having a heart attack, your first response is to check on the baby who is gonna die if I die.
And you gotta wait a half an hour.
Yeah, and you have to wait 20 minutes as they check the heartbeat. And longer so they can take you there and back. Like, if I die, she dies. Like, I don't mean to get grim. That's just the way life works, okay? But they take me to labor and delivery. I'm like screaming, basically. I'm like, oh, I'm grunting. And like teeth grit and everything. And I'm just like dying, okay? And obviously Andrew was the one who took me. He had to miss school. He didn't care, but you know, I felt bad, kind of. Like, they take me down to labor and delivery, and they're like, hey, we have someone for you to monitor. And they're like, excuse me. And they're like, oh, what's going on? Where's your pain? And I'm like, in my chest. And they're like they use their brains, okay? And they're like, she's having chest pains. We can't do anything about that. Like, she needs to get an EKG, which is, I guess, for a heart attack. And then she needs to get an EKG. We're not paid enough, kind of thing. Which, like, valid. Like, no, you're not. Because why am I being sent to here for something completely unrelated? So, basically, whatever. Okay, so then like they say, all right, well, I guess we gotta go back to ER. So they take me to ER, and this was the quickest ER trip I've had. Like usually we're waiting hours, and I'm just like sitting there like grunting in pain, like in the rooms, and like I'm getting weird stares. Luckily this time they instantly take me back to the ER, and I'm instantly seen. And they take me to a room, and I think I might have been like their worst patient. I think that might have been why. Maybe, I don't know. I don't want to say that because like I'm like, people are dying. You know what I mean?
Was a guy in a car accident. Like...
There actually was a guy in a car accident, yes. But like I was like on their higher up list, and I think that's why I got seen sooner. But like I don't think my issue was that bad. Like I was in pain, but like I was obviously wasn't dying. You know what I mean? So it's like, but I think like they just were like, they didn't know if I was dying. Basically, they're like, I knew I wasn't, but they obviously have to make sure. So if they hear chest pains and see me like screaming, they're gonna be like, oh my god, we gotta get her checked out. So I was seen instantly. Bless you. So I'm seen, and they basically, long story short, they're like, yeah, we're gonna give you morphine, which is a drug. I don't know. To help with pains. Yeah. And and Violet can, in the womb, she would be fine if she had it. It would just make her tired, like really, really exhausted. So they have to be careful because like to not give me a whole bunch. And if I was in so much pain, I would have said no. But it was the fact that I was in excruciating pain. And it was probably causing her more distress than morphine ever could. So, she's good. And so, they gave me morphine, and I am instantly so much better. They have to give it to me through an IV, and I didn't know this because I've never had an IV in. Not that I've never had an IV in, but I've never had an IV. Like, I never had medication injected to me through IV. But when they do that, it's instant. And I was so instantly, like, I was like in pain, and then like all of a sudden, she's like, it's gonna be quick, it's gonna kick in instantly, and all of a sudden it's like there, and like 10 seconds later, I'm like, whoa, I feel better. And I was feeling so good, and I was like, yay. And they have to basically, every single time you go in for gallstones specifically, they have to, I mean, in general, they have to check your blood with what you go into, or what you go in for. So they drew my blood, and with gallstones, you can get an infection, and they need to check for that. So they take my blood, and each time before, I never had an infection. Like, it was all good. Well, this time, I had an infection. So they were like, oh shit, we don't know what to do. Because I was one of the first in a while to get gallstones and be pregnant. So they were like, we don't really know what the next course of action is here. Who's your doctor? Tell them who my doctor, like my OBGYN. I tell them who he is. I told them like the place, and they were like, okay, we're gonna call him, and we're going to try and see what the next step is. So me and Andrew, we're just chilling. I'm living, I'm good. Like, I'm just there, and honestly, I felt like a poser being there. Everyone in there was like having all these issues, and I was there, and I was having an issue, but I was good. I was like, I was feeling so good. So after a little bit, I have someone come back, one of the doctors, and he's like, hey, so this is kind of silly. You're having your baby today. And I kind of had a feeling I was going to when they were like, we're going to call your doctor and see what to do next. Because I'm like, what else is there to do? Like, what is my OBGYN going to do? Okay, an induction, right? So I called my mom already, and I was like, I let her know. I was like, I feel like they might induce me. Because like I said, they had brought that up before, like the idea of inducing me, but I was just too early on. I was 39 weeks. Like, I was full term, so there's no risks. Like, I'm good, you know? Obviously, no risk is, like, as long as nothing goes wrong. 'Cause there's always a risk with birth in general, so. But I was good, so I was like, okay, cool. And so, yeah, they basically tell us, you're having a baby today. I'm like, oh my god. And it kind of, like, starts to, like, set in. Like, I'm having a whole baby. We're having a baby today. You excited?
Yeah, it's like an awkward thing, because there's just people out there right now.
And I was really excited. Me and Andrew were really excited. I think I'll show that clip of us talking about how we were excited, because that's a cute one. And that one's not too personal. Like, there's a lot of clips in there that I'm not showing because it's really personal. Like, not really personal, but it's like stuff I just don't want out. So I like that one though. That one's a cute one. I don't mind showing. So I'm getting induced. I'm so nervous. There's Andrew.
I'm excited.
I'm nervous and excited. I'm obviously excited, but I just can't believe it. I'm not showered either. Like, I haven't showered in a couple days.
I showered right before we left. I was in the shower, actually, when this whole thing started.
And I wasn't, so it kind of sucks, but it's fine.
Imagine if I didn't buy shampoo yesterday. Well, that would suck.
So, I don't know. I'm so excited and nervous. But yeah, so we're gonna meet Violet today. This is her last time in there before she gets evicted. So it's really scary, but really exciting. And I'm very grateful that we get to meet her, but I'm also very scared. I'm honestly like 10 times more scared for the anesthesia from the surgery I'm getting after, but you know, I'm really excited to meet Violet. So basically, after I get in, by the way, like I kind of forgot to mention this, after I got induced, I would basically have to I'd have to get surgery instantly, basically. Not like instantly wheeled into surgery, but like I'd have to stay in the hospital and wait to get surgery and to basically get my gallbladder out. Basically, if I didn't get my gallbladder out, the infection could have spread to Violet and hurt her and basically kind of kill us if it went untreated for long enough. And we could have gotten sepsis and died, basically. Like, that's like worst case scenario, but it could have happened, which is still pretty scary. It wasn't likely, it just could have, and like I said, that's pretty scary. But, you know, it didn't, thankfully. So we end up getting taken labor and delivery, and I'm gonna kind of save like the details because it was just a really long night. So we get wheeled to labor and delivery, and they hook me up to a monitor, and they start the induction process. And the thing is that most people who get induced aren't dilated. Most people who get induced, it's not like, hey, I want to get induced. It's like, no, I'm not giving birth. Like, I need to get induced. With me, I was progressing just fine. I was actually having contractions, and I didn't know. That's what they told me. They said, you're already 3 centimeters dilated. You're having contractions. You just don't feel them. And I'm like, what? Like, that was before they even started inducing me. So they were like, yeah, that's kind of crazy. I guess that the induction takes a few days for people. But for me, it was gonna probably go quicker thanks to the fact that I was already dilated. And I was thinking like maybe like I would have her like maybe like afternoon the next day, right? So, you know, me and Andrew we were in our room. I was having contractions, and they were okay at first. They were pretty fine. Like, I was fine, and then all of a sudden they just like kicked in full force, and I had to get the epidural. So, got the epidural. My legs were numb. I was living my best life besides my legs being numb, but no more contractions, which is great. So, a win is a win. Basically, they check me to see after they check me to see my dilation, they don't check me again. Like, I'm good. They checked me twice, technically, before checking me for the third time. The 2 times, I was both 3 centimeters only. So I really, like, wasn't really progressing as fast as I liked to, and I was thinking, man, maybe I won't have the baby as soon as I was hoping, whatever. And they basically leave me and Andrew to sleep for a little bit. At this point, it's already, like 1 in the morning. So me and Andrew are like, let's go to sleep. We sleep. And then, you know, I'm kind of like in and out of sleep a lot. Like, I wake up every hour. I'm struggling to sleep. And all of a sudden, you know, I get woken up by the doctor who's going to be helping me deliver. And she's like, hey, you know, I'm just going to be checking you. You know, I'm going to be helping you deliver today. You know, whatever. I'm just going to talk about how delivery is going to go, all that stuff. And it's basically supposed to be like a talk about how labor is supposed to go and her plan and all this stuff. So as like she's explaining it to me, as she's talking to me, she's going to check me, my dilation. And she's also going to do this thing called a membrane sweep, where they basically, I don't really know how it works, but it basically would help also induce me to labor, which they were already giving medication to induce me. So as she's going to do a membrane sweep and check my dilation, she puts her fingers in me, or she's about to, and check, oh, your membranes are sticking out, actually, which means, and she puts her fingers in, and she's like, I can feel your baby's head. You're about to give birth. And I was like, oh my gosh, my mom's not even here yet. And like, I'm calling my mom, but she was there. She had just gotten there. And she said that from her POV, she hears someone saying like, oh, you know, like, oh my God, like everyone's like, we need nurses in here. Like, we need to get her out. She's going to go into labor, or she's going to go into delivery. My mom's like, oh, I'm looking for my daughter. And they're like, who's your daughter? And then she says, it's me. And then they're like, that's her. She's about to give birth. And she's like, oh my God. And it was really crazy. And it was like a really hectic time. They woke Andrew up, and they were kind of like, hey.
She's in labor.
Yeah, she's in labor. And he was like, oh my gosh. And so I was like, oh my God. And it started to hit me. I was getting nervous. And I was like, oh my gosh. And to make matters worse, probably, I had not showered for like a couple days. Like, sure, call me gross. I was pregnant as fuck. Shower is a whole fucking exercise. So basically, I'm in the delivery room and they're like, you know, and I can't feel anything. And my legs, I didn't know this, but I guess that I didn't know this was like a thing. My mom said this. Like when she was giving birth, she said that they didn't prop her legs up because her legs were too long. My legs are kind of short and stubby. So they had to put my legs up, and it looked like really funny because my legs were just coming in the air. But they were instructing me to push, and I didn't feel anything. And I was hearing people say, and I got very lucky. Like I got a very, very, very lucky situation. I heard people saying that their inductions, or that pushing took them like hours. And for me, it only took 6 minutes. I pushed in 6 minutes and she was out. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like it was crazy. And I felt so happy because I haven't been doing as much like exercises as I should to get her easier out. I got lucky. I got so lucky. And like, thank goodness. So yeah. And all was well. She came out 7 pounds, 18 ounces. No, 8 ounces. 7 pounds, 8 ounces. And she was born. And I'll include like little pictures of like our first day. She's about to come in. She's never seen me with makeup on. This is the star of the show. Oh, she's so cute.
You gotta check her diaper after.
Look at her. She's my baby. So this is Violet. She's so adorable. Sorry, she's adorable.
She's like a survivor right now that I scratched.
Yeah, I know. She's really warm, so we gotta unswaddle her. We're gonna get her dressed because we're gonna go out just to meet. So she has to meet her grandma today. One of her grandmas. One of 3.
Her grandma and her great grandma.
And her great grandma. One of a bunch. She has a lot. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and it was a very easy process to give birth. I got very, very lucky, like I said. I'm very grateful, and I love her so much. And yeah, this is her. This is her little face. She looks angry right now, though. Maybe she is. She's too rested. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm gonna give her a kiss. Mwah. I'm sorry. I hope I didn't get any. My lip stuff is dry, so I shouldn't have got anything on her. So I got really lucky to have an easy birth, whatever. And I had gallstone surgery too. I was in the hospital for a while because they had to delay my surgery. It was like a whole thing. I was in there from 4 p.m. on Monday to 3 p.m. on Friday. And then I was finally discharged, and I'm very, very happy I was discharged because that was hard. Okay, let me pause this. Okay, thank you to Andrew. Just like say that because he's changing her, or he's gonna change her. So thank you, Andrew. So overall, had a pretty good stay there, and thankfully, I'm home. And being home has been pretty good. I was a little bit scared at first, but she's good, and we're getting used to it. We're getting in a routine a little bit. It's obviously never easy being new parents, but we're getting there. We're doing what we gotta do. And this is my first time doing my makeup, and I feel pretty good, so. Okay, I'm testing this out because I'm gonna start testing out using Andrew's phone as a mic for me, because I saw people doing that, and I was meaning to buy one of those mini mics, but I never got around to it. I'm hoping that the audio syncs up fine, and if I don't like it, it's my test. It's 4 in the morning, and I never got to finish the video because yesterday was hectic. We had a very long day, so it's kind of like, so it's kind of just like, bear with me. And I just want to give a little shout out to Andrew, because after I had my surgery and we were in the hospital, he was very great with helping. I did not change a diaper for the first 4 days of her life, because of my surgery. And he did not complain once. Is that the bare minimum? Sure. But he still went above and beyond. He still went above and beyond in a lot of other ways. In terms of like helping me with my postpartum recovery, and obviously taking care of Violet for the majority of my healing. And we're finally getting in a routine now that I'm becoming more independent with my, indecisions and all that stuff. But he was basically just very helpful, and he's been very great and helpful. And like I said, until we have been able to get into a routine, which I don't want to share too much of our personal lives, which I'm gonna overshare. I'm okay sharing my personal life, but since this is involving my family. But postpartum has been weird, but I feel like I've been doing pretty good. The first night home was the hardest. Second night home was okay. It did a lot better. And tonight, actually, I'm gonna take my glasses off because the reflection isn't as bad. The third night home, which is tonight, was hard because postpartum is hard and because I was emotional tonight. But right now, things have been going good. Violet woke up and Andrea's school tomorrow, and I was like, you know what? You've been helping me so much in the hospital. Get your sleep, King. And I got this. So I woke up, and I have to breast pump. I have to pump, so I have to be up anyways to do this. So I'm like, just get your sleep. I got this. So that's why I'm holding her, because she's awake. I don't know if you can see, but she's awake. So as I wait for her to sleep, I'm holding her. I also still got a pump. I'm just waiting. I also feel like I look so evil from this ankle. I'm have no makeup. This is me before bed. But yeah, like I was saying, shout out to Andrew. He's been really great, and I'm very grateful to have him, because I think of a lot of women, and I don't know if, not just women, but just people, anyone who's able to get pregnant. Okay, I think of them and how there's a lot of bad partners out there, a lot of bad men out there, and how a lot of women don't have a lot of support. And the reason why I was thinking of that was because a lot of the nurses were saying oh my gosh, he's so helpful compared to the other dads that we've had. And I'm like, is this not the standard? So it made me just feel just a little extra grateful, knowing I picked right, that I got a good man who's willing to help me, and who's just willing to show me the love that I would like to think I deserve. It's nice. Anyways, though, yeah, this is just kind of me rambling a little, so I'm not gonna make it too boring. But thank you, Andrew, and I love you, even though I show it to him in other ways. He's just been great. So yeah, like I said, tonight is my way of trying to make it up to him, even though he never expected that and has not held it against me once. And he hasn't he's not like that. He would never try to be oh, well, I did this in the hospital. So I just wanted to give him a good night's rest, especially because while he's at school, I might take a little nap while she is asleep, because she sleeps all day. That's the way babies are. They're nocturnal. But anyways, I know this is kind of just rambling, but yeah. Anyways, moral of the story though, if you're thinking about getting pregnant, don't. No, I love her. She's great. I do want to be filming more videos though, for my postpartum sake. Filming videos kind of helps me feel happy, and I don't want to fall into postpartum depression. So my goal is to film more. I'm not going to center it around her. I'm going to center it around me still. I'm not a freak, okay? She's not the star she's the star of my show in my world, but she's not the star of my channel, and it makes me mad when parents do that. So she's going to be loved privately, publicly, but all of our intimate moments are private. Her life is private. And there's little things I don't mind filming. It's just, I feel like a lot of people let the fame get, and I don't necessarily think my channel is going to be a huge thing at all, but even if it was, I would never let that affect but like her life, because she deserves to have a normal life like any child does. Anyway, sorry, my child exploitation rant, because it's really sad and it pisses me off. But I do want to show how I'm healing postpartum, especially with my surgery. Obviously I'm holding a baby, so there's only so much I can do. But this is my belly, and I'm gonna show the incisions. But real quick, spoiler, look away if you don't want to see incisions. So as you can see, okay, let's see if I can kind of multitask here. I hope I'm heard just fine. This, if not, I'll do a voiceover. This right here was just an incision they had to make. This right here, and no, this one was where they had to put a tube in to drain my gallstone. Again, haven't had a chance to scrub this off because these are still healing. So this one is just like where they were also cutting in to get my gallbladder. And up here is where they put the camera to get it out. So yeah, and obviously I got a little bit of a pudge, but that's normal with postpartum. Anyway, so I think that's all. I'm gonna look over my video and make sure I told the full story, and if not, I'll have to fix that. And I know I look kind of like an alien because I don't have my eyebrows, but neither does she. She don't got eyebrows either. She got an excuse, but you know. But anyways, I just wanted to film this video, and my goal is to film more, do little cute vlogs maybe, or just videos of me talking about random things. I want to do more fashion videos too, so maybe I'll do those. But yeah, so I'm very, very lucky to have support around me, to have Andrew, to have Violet safely delivered, especially after my crazy birth story. I'd also like to mention, honorable mention, that the day before I gave birth, this like stork looking bird showed up at our house out of the blue, and it was really weird. I'm not like religious, really, like, you know, I don't really know my stance on that, really. It's kind of complicated, but I just thought that was a very symbolic and kind of cute, beautiful thing. And that's what my parents were saying too. They were saying like how they're gonna make a picture book and they're gonna include that stork, and I thought that was just really cute and really cool. So but yeah, anyways, good night, because it's 4:34 a.m. so I'm gonna finish up my nightly tasks, watch some YouTube, and try to get her to bed if she's up for it. Oh, she looks tired, so she's up for it, hopefully. Yeah. Thanks for watching, y'all. And I don't know, I don't have much people watching my videos, which is totally fine. I do it more for me and my funness. I don't know if that's the right word, but if anyone is watching and y'all have any ideas of things you want to see, let me know.